You know that situation where someone in the family comes with a quick request, saying it's just a loan, that they'll return it soon. Well, it seems simple, but behind it, there's something that many people don't realize. When you put money in the middle of a family bond, something changes silently. The conversation stops being light. The relationship stops being natural. That feeling of closeness starts to feel heavy because now there's an expectation. And expectation, when not fulfilled, turns into resentment. And the most curious thing is that this doesn't happen all at once. It happens gradually. First comes the promise of payment, then comes the delay, then comes the uncomfortable silence. And without realizing it, you no longer speak to that person the same way. They also don't speak to you the same way. Everything becomes more rigid, more distant. Therefore, simple but powerful advice: if you're going to help, help as a gift, not as a loan. This way, you maintain peace in your heart, keep the relationship intact, and avoid turning affection into demand, because family bonds are delicate things. And when money enters, it can tighten that bond until it breaks. Helping is beautiful, but helping without expecting back is even wiser. Imagine for a moment that you're starting a small business. You're excited, full of ideas, full of plans. You think about how to organize everything, how to grow, how to make it work. It's an important moment, which requires calm, strategy, and a lot of clarity. But then someone from the family appears saying, "Why don't you have me work with you? We already know each other anyway." And that's exactly where the risk begins. Business is made of logical decisions. Family is made of emotion. When you mix the two, the line between responsibility and feeling becomes confused. If you need to charge about a delay, it hurts. If you need to call attention to something that wasn't done, it weighs. If you need to make a difficult decision, the heart stops before the head. And the worst, everything that should be professional becomes personal. The person doesn't see the charge as guidance. They see it as criticism. You don't see a mistake as part of work. You see it as disappointment. And suddenly, what was supposed to be growth becomes a source of conflict. Many people lose business. Many people lose friendship. And many people lose both at the same time. That's why there's a simple rule, but one that saves relationships. Business is business. Family is family, each thing in its place, each space with its purpose, each relationship with its limit. When you separate the two things, you preserve what really matters, the tranquility of your business and the peace of your home. If you're enjoying the video, go ahead and like it and subscribe to the channel. This helps a lot for the content to reach more people and shows me that you really want to transform your financial life. And there's one more important thing: become a channel member. For an amount that literally costs less than a pizza, you'll have access to exclusive classes about investments, strategies that many people will never teach you because they prefer to keep this knowledge for a few. Not here. Here it's direct, clear, and designed for you to give you the kind of information that really changes someone's life. If you want to learn to invest the right way, protect your money, and start building wealth, being a channel member is the cheapest and smartest path you can choose today. In many homes, there's a habit that seems innocent, but that creates problems that nobody sees coming. Venting to family about relationship conflicts. It works like this. In the heat of an argument, you get upset, hurt, tired, and run to tell everything to a relative. You say what you feel, what you thought, what you heard, and let it all out there in the emotion. And the family, wanting to protect you, keeps every detail, even those that you'll forget soon. But there's an important detail. You get over it. They don't. The next day, you and your partner talk, understand each other, adjust what needs to be adjusted, make peace. But the family didn't see that. They only saw the bad part, and that's the part that stays in their minds. Over time, the crooked looks begin, the silent judgments, the phrases to alert you. And you don't even realize that it was you who opened that door. The relationship, which could continue strong and mature, starts to be observed by an audience that shouldn't be there. And what was a moment of irritation becomes a permanent problem in the mind of those who heard. That's why there's a simple principle. Relationship is between two. Couple problems are solved with the couple. It's not about hiding anything. It's about protecting the relationship from opinions that only hinder. Because in the end, what makes a union last isn't what you say to others. It's what you two can resolve together with calm, respect, and maturity. Comparison is a silent trap that steals peace from many people without them noticing. You're living your life, taking care of your responsibilities, doing your best to improve a little each day, until you open your phone and see someone traveling, someone buying a new car, someone celebrating achievements that seem enormous. And suddenly, what you were building calmly starts to seem too small. That feeling of being behind arises, that uncomfortable doubt whispering, "Why don't I have this yet? Am I falling behind?" But there's a simple truth. You're comparing yourself to the most beautiful part of other people's lives, not the real part. Nobody posts overdue bills. Nobody shows failure. Nobody displays fear, insecurity, sleepless nights, or repeated mistakes. You see the result, but never see the process. And when you put your behind the scenes next to others' best moment, you'll always feel like you're losing, even when you're advancing. Besides, each person has their own time. Some people achieve something early, some achieve it late. Some arrive by a direct path, others by long routes full of curves. And this doesn't mean someone is better or worse, it just means each journey is unique. That's why the only intelligent comparison is with who you were yesterday. Ask yourself, today did I advance? Did I learn something new? Did I take a step, even if small? Because real growth doesn't appear all at once. It appears gradually, in the silence of consistency. And when you stop looking at others' progress, you finally start to see your own. You realize how far you've already walked, how much you've already overcome, and how much you can still achieve. Comparison paralyzes, evolution frees, and you only need to walk at your own pace. Comfort seems like a safe place, but in reality, it's one of the greatest enemies of growth. Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about this. He says that most people don't achieve a better financial life not because of lack of capacity, but because they flee from any situation that brings discomfort. And the problem is exactly that. Nothing great is born inside the comfort zone. When you choose the easiest path, you also choose to stay in the same place. It's as if life is always pushing you forward, but you cling to a routine that seems too peaceful to be left behind. But it's this routine that traps you. Kiyosaki explains that many people spend their entire lives seeking security, a fixed salary, a stable job, a predictable routine. This seems good at first, but it has a high price. You trade time for money every day, and the more comfortable you get in this trade, the less courage you have to explore something bigger. Fear of the unknown holds you back. Comfort lulls you. And when you realize years have passed and nothing has changed, the truth is that growth lives in discomfort. It's when you study something new, when you try a different project, when you take on a greater responsibility, when you ask difficult questions and face your own limits. It's at that moment that you discover strengths you didn't even know you had. Kiyosaki teaches that those who really prosper are those who accept that progress is uncomfortable at first. It's those who understand that learning to invest is strange at the beginning, that saving money hurts at first, that building assets requires discipline. But it's also those who understand that all this temporary discomfort opens doors that comfort will never open. And that's why he always repeats, first face the discomfort, then comes freedom. And it makes sense. Financial freedom isn't born on the couch. It's born in the courageous decision to do something new. In the end, fleeing from comfort isn't about suffering. It's about evolving. It's about leaving stagnation. It's about building a life that's really worth living. There's something inside you that perhaps nobody has explained properly. Your potential doesn't disappear. It just remains dormant when you don't use it. Many people spend their entire lives believing they were born to live small, that certain achievements aren't for them, that only others have luck, talent, opportunity, or capacity. But that's not true. It's just a story repeated so many times that it seems real. The truth is simple. You have much more strength, creativity, and intelligence than you believe. But to discover this, you need to take the first step, even if it's small, even if it's uncertain, even if it scares you. Potential only appears when you move. It doesn't arise standing still, waiting for the perfect moment. It's born from action. And here's an important point. Many people diminish their own capacity because they grew up hearing negative opinions. That's too difficult. You won't make it. Better stay safe. That's not for you. Over time, the person starts repeating these phrases inside their head, and then fear becomes the owner of their life. But look at what I need to remind you now. Other people's opinions don't pay your bills, don't build your future, and don't define who you are. What defines your life are the choices you make every day, and the courage you put into them. When you ignore your potential, you live halfway. When you face fear, you truly live. Maybe you have a hidden talent. Maybe you have an idea you've never put on paper. Maybe you want to start a business, learn to invest, change areas, study something new, grow, change. But you keep waiting for someone to say, "Go, I believe in you." But the one who needs to believe before everyone else is you. Robert Kiyosaki always says that people's biggest mistake isn't failing, it's not trying. Because failure teaches, strengthens, adjusts the path, but lack of attempt kills any possibility of victory. You'll only discover how far you can go when you have the courage to take the next step, even if you don't see the entire path yet. Potential is like a door. It only opens from the inside, and only you have the key. So don't hide, don't diminish yourself. Don't limit yourself. You were born for more. You just need to allow yourself to go. Postponing is one of the most expensive habits that exist. When you leave financial decisions for later, this later always arrives charging interest. Interest of stress, of regret, of lost opportunities, and mainly of wasted time. Most people believe they'll start when they have more money, when they're calmer, when they organize their routine, when there's something left at the end of the month. But this perfect moment never comes. Real life doesn't wait. Bills don't wait. Age doesn't wait. The market doesn't wait. But we wait too much. Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about this. Procrastination is more dangerous than risk because risk can still give you return, learning, and experience. Procrastination returns nothing. It only steals. And that's exactly what happens when you delay important decisions like starting a reserve, studying investments, organizing your budget, or creating new sources of income. Every day you postpone, you're giving up a lighter future. Many people think, "Oh, but it's just a little bit, tomorrow I'll start." But tomorrow becomes a week, the week becomes a month. And when you realize a year has passed, and you continue in the same place with the same problems, the same routine, and the same emotional exhaustion. The truth is simple but powerful. Those who start small today go far tomorrow. Those who keep waiting for the ideal moment never leave their place. One reel saved, one step taken, one habit created, one minimal change. All of this is worth more than a big promise that never becomes action. You don't need to know everything, you don't need to have much, you don't need to wait for perfect motivation. You just need to start. Start the way you can, with what you have, from where you are. Because it's exactly in the simple beginning that transformation happens. And remember, if you don't control your financial life, someone will control it for you, and almost always for their own benefit. That's why knowledge matters so much. That's why action matters even more. And that's why later is one of the greatest enemies of your freedom. Don't postpone your life. Don't postpone your progress. Don't postpone your future. The best day to start was yesterday. The second best is today. Have you noticed that most people spend their entire lives working for money, but never learn to make money work for them? Robert Kiyosaki repeats this all the time. Those who don't understand this rule are stuck in the survival game. And this is where the mindset completely changes. When you focus on earning more, you chase. But when you focus on building assets, you create something that chases for you. And this isn't something that will happen someday. It starts small, it starts simple, but it starts with a step that almost nobody takes. Separate a part of everything you earn and put it in something that appreciates. It can be a new book that will expand your mind, a course that will give you a skill that pays bills, a stock, a fund, a digital business, even a tool that multiplies your productivity. Kiyosaki always says, who learns more, earns more. Who invests more in assets, works less for the rest of their life. And that's what few people understand. They prefer to buy something that gives pleasure now and ignore what gives freedom later. But you're not here for immediate pleasure. You're watching this video because you want to transform your financial reality. And those who decide to grow don't think like consumers, they think like investors. So remember, with every real you earn, there are only two options. It becomes an asset or it becomes a waste. And this decision completely changes your financial destiny. When someone starts studying finances for real, something powerful happens inside them. The mind expands, and when this happens, they can never live like before again. Robert Kiyosaki explains that mental expansion is the first great asset a person builds. It's not an investment in the stock market, it's not real estate, it's not a business, it's consciousness itself. After you understand how money works, things that seemed normal before start to seem too small for you. Impulse spending no longer makes sense. Living only on salary no longer satisfies. Depending on luck or random opportunities stops being an option. The person starts to see value in things others ignore, in a book, in a skill, in knowledge that opens doors, in a decision that plants freedom for the coming years. And this movement is irreversible. The mind that learns to build wealth never accepts surviving again. It starts seeking growth, consistency, assets, knowledge, always one step beyond. Kiyosaki always reinforces this. Financial transformation begins silently, inside the head, and only later appears in the pocket. When someone expands their vision, everything around starts to reorganize. Choices change, habits change, life's direction changes. And even if nobody notices now, it's exactly this internal change that prepares you for results that today still seem distant, but that have already started to form inside your new mindset. At the end of everything, there's one certainty. Nobody changes their life by chance. Change begins the moment the person decides they will no longer accept living on autopilot, repeating the same habits, suffering with the same problems, and hoping that luck will solve what only discipline can transform. The real turning point happens when the mind awakens, when you realize that building wealth isn't a matter of luck, but of direction. It's not speed, but consistency. It's not appearance, but vision. Those who understand this stop living, putting out fires, and start living with purpose. Trade immediacy for strategy. Trade fear for preparation. Trade I can't for I'm learning. And if you've made it this far, it's because something inside you already knows it's time to change. Time to organize your financial life, create new habits, seek knowledge, and build the kind of future that really makes sense for you. Before closing, I ask you to do something simple. Like the video, subscribe to the channel and share with someone who really needs to change their life this year. A single piece of content can be the push that's missing for someone to awaken, reorganize their mind, and start a new cycle. Your transformation has already begun. Stay strong. What's coming ahead can be much greater than everything you left behind.